Namaskar, my dear students. Today we are going to discuss the same chapter, that is the reproduction in the flowering plants, that I started with you yesterday. And in that very chapter I have discussed with you some very important terms. The first was the what is meant by the term reproduction and what are the various types, that is asexual, sexual and the vegetative propagation in the topic reproduction. In addition to this, I discussed with you the term lifespan, and then we started with the various types of the reproduction, in which I told you that broadly we can classify the types of reproduction into asexual reproduction and the vegetative and the sexual reproduction. We started with the asexual reproduction, which involves only a single parent and there is no need of the sexual partners. Only a single parent can continue with the process of the reproduction. And in the asexual reproduction, as we started discussing the various types, I discussed with you the process of the fission, and today I will continue with the same. After the fission, I will be talking about the next method of reproduction, and that is fragmentation. Now, what is fragmentation? Dear students, the fragmentation is the process of reproduction. Fragmentation means breaking down into fragments. Actually, what happens here, the parental body breaks into two or more fragments, either by the wave action or by the death and decay of the old plants. For example, in this diagram you can see the filament of the Spirogyra. When it's get broken into smaller pieces accidentally, naturally, by the decay method, each broken part has the capacity to develop into a new segment. Each body part develops into a new organism. Various lower plants and some animals show the process of reproduction. For example, flatworms, sea anemone, echinoderms, starfish, several algal and various groups of the bryophytes, they show the process of fragmentation. This is easy method of reproduction. It causes the organisms to multiply in a shorter period of time. It is definitely having some advantages over various other methods of reproduction. And what are these various advantages? The first one, as I told you, there is no need of the sexual partners. Only a single parent can continue the process. Moreover, it is a rapid rate of reproduction as compared to the various other methods of reproduction. But it is also associated with some disadvantages. And what are the various disadvantages of the fragmentation? The first one is that we live in a dynamic world which is always changing, and since the world is changing, the geographical factors are changing, they always need the organisms living over there to get adapted. But since this is a involving a single parent, there are no chances of combination of genes and hence no variations. So, and moreover, it is adaptation is little lesser. It generally leads to the overcrowding because it is very rapid method, so it leads to the overcrowding, as a result of which the organisms show a high level of struggle for existence. Whatsoever is the case, this is a method of reproduction in the nature for rapid perpetuation of the dying out organisms. Now, after the fragmentation, we will talk about vegetative propagation. Vegetative propagation or the vegetative reproduction. It is the process of multiplication in which the portion of the fragment of the plant body functions as a propagate. That is, it develops into a new individual. Some plants are able to multiply by vegetative methods which involve the production of new plants without the act of fertilization or the sexual union. Asexual or the vegetative propagation of the plant is that form of plant propagation in which the new individual arises from any vegetative part of the parent. It could be root, stem, leaf, etc., and possess exactly the same characteristics of the parents plants from which it was sampled or from which it was taken. I must mention here that plants may be propagated artificially by vegetative means by working on the natural principle. Both these methods I shall be discussing one by one. So what are the various methods of vegetative propagation? As I told you, it is natural vegetative propagation and the artificial vegetative propagation. Various organisms which are involved, they could be root, stem, leaf, bulbils, etc., and they could be rhizome, tuber, bulb, corm, runner, offset, stolon, and similarly among the artificial methods it could be cutting, layering, grafting, and grafting of various types, and the micropropagation, which means tissue culture, and layering is again of the various types. We shall be discussing these methods one by one. So let us start with these methods, and first of all I will be discussing, I am showing you the figures of the various modes of vegetative propagation by various organisms. This is as you can see in this figure, this is a rhizome of the ginger. Straggling and branched rhizomes reproduced by vegetative propagation not only in ginger but in banana, in turmeric also. Decay of older parts isolate the newly formed branches. The latter henceforth leads to the independent life. Corms like colocasia, Fericia, crocus, etc. have sufficient food stored and also bear numerous adventitious bulbs. A bulb can bear a number of buds: garlic, narcissus, onion, etc. Similarly, this, as you can see, this is the aerial shoot arising from the bud or the nodes or the eyes in the potato stem tuber, and next one is the runner of the grass. Stem tubers are found in potato and artichoke. Tubers of potato is a swollen apical part of the underground stem, branched and bears a number of nodes or the eyes. Each eye bears one or more buds. New plants are produced from the buds of the eye. The potato crop is raised by tubers and not by the seeds because it is a rapid method of reproduction. Let me talk about this runner, that is shown by the garden grass, the Cynodon dactylon, to which we in the local language call doob grass. Aerial weak stem, for example in this doob grass, mint, pudina, and wood sorrel, oxalis, which touches the ground, gives off adventitious roots at the nodes. Some older parts of the plants dies and the branches separate from the parent plant and form the independent plant. Next we shall be talking about the vegetative propagation by leaf. So far as vegetative propagation by the leaf is concerned, you can see in this figure the bryophyllum. This is the bryophyllum showing the formation from the marginal adventitious buds. In addition to this, begonia, streptocarpus, kalanchoe, and Saint Paulia, they show the vegetative propagation by taking leaf as the organ of the propagation or the propagule. In bryophyllum, notched margins of the succulent leaves, as you can see in this figure, bear adventitious buds. These buds usually remain dormant when the leaf is attached with the plant. However, the leaves, when in contact with the moist soil, develop new plantlets along the margins. However, in some species of bryophyllum, plantlets develop along the margins of the intact leaves also. So these are some of the methods of vegetative propagation by natural method. Now I shall be talking about the artificial propagation. Now my dear students, I must tell you that gardeners and the horticulturists have employed the various methods of vegetative propagation adopted by the plants in the nature. These practices are taken by the horticulturist because this is a quick production of the plants, they can combine the good qualities of the plants, they can obliterate some important phases of the life cycle, and hence they can obliterate some infections. For example, seed-borne infections can be obliterated by the artificial methods of propagation. As you can see in this figure, cutting, layering and grafting are the main methods of reproduction by artificial means, but we shall be discussing these one by one. Let us first talk about the cutting. A cutting is a separated portion of the root, stem or the leaf. It is very common method employed by the artificial vegetative propagation in various important plants. One is the sugar cane, roses, citrus, then grapes, cocoa, bougainvillea, carnations and many other plants are largely and rapidly propagated by stem cutting. A cutting is put in the soil. Care is taken that nodes which were lower in the parent plant, morphologically I mean to say, are put in the soil, while the morphologically higher nodes are kept up. That is, the cutting is placed in the same way as it exists in the nature. Adventitious roots are given off at the lower sides. Nowadays, special growth hormones like indole acetic acid, indole butyric acid, etc. are applied in dilute quantities to the lower ends of the stem cuttings. This application enhances the production of the roots, and hence the favorable time for planting of cutting is the spring. Next is the grafting. Grafting is performed between two plants of the closely related varieties. The plants of which the root stem is to be taken is called a stalk, as you can see in this figure, and the other from which the shoot is to be used is called a scion. Stalk usually bears root system, for example desi mango, and scion has a desired variety of the flowers or the fruits. Let's take the example of the Dasheri mango, but with the weak root system. The success of grafting mostly depends upon the union of the cambium of scion and the stalk, which results in organic connection between them. The cut surface should be held together tightly by raping, nailing or such method which causes their union. The grafting operation should be done at a proper time of the year. All the shoots protruding from the stalk should be removed, otherwise they will not permit the scion to grow. However, this is a sure method of combining the varieties of the two plants by the vegetative method of propagation. Next is the layering. In this method, stem branch chosen for propagation, layer, remains attached to the parent till it has developed adventitious roots. It is of various types: air layering, ground layering, gutti, etc. In ground layering, stem is capable of bending and selected branch is bent down in the soil. Portion touching the soil is cleared of the leaf and injury is made on it by cutting a shallow ring, that is called a ringing, by giving an oblique upward cut on the bent portion of the node, that is called tonguing, or by giving V-shaped cut called as notching. And this is achieved in several soft branched plants such as jasmine, strawberry, clematis, etc. In air layering, bark of the chosen plant is cut by girdling or ringing near the base. Injury initiates root formation. Cut area is treated with the auxins. Hormonal treatment is given. Then a ball of sphagnum mass is placed around the cut portion. It is kept moist and enclosed in the polythene bag. When the roots appear, the stem is cut below the level of the roots and planted. This method is popularly known as gutti. Now, this is artificial methods of reproduction. You can see I have given here the various examples of the wedge cutting, the approach grafting, tongue grafting and the bud grafting. In addition to this, there is the method of the vegetative propagation, which is very common nowadays, and that is the micro propagation. That is a tissue culture, that is a cell or the tissue of the plant is taken and grown in vitro conditions, in the laboratory conditions, and a new plant is obtained. So that's all for today, my dear students. I hope you have understood the various methods of artificial propagation. I hope you will make the notes properly, and in case you have any problem, you can talk to me on my phone number, or you can leave a message at my email address given at the end of the lecture. Till then, stay safe, stay healthy, and do read it from your NCERT book also, so that you are properly able to understand. Thank you so much.